Remember Sunday morning fry-ups? Remember when a sausage actually tasted like pork? When you could bite into a banger and taste meat, proper seasoning, maybe a hint of sage or black pepper, not whatever that grey paste is that oozes out of so many supermarket sausages these days. For decades, the Great British Sausage has been a cornerstone of our food culture. From toad in the hole to the classic full English, from sausage rolls at the match to bangers and mash on a cold Tuesday night. It's comfort food, it's tradition, it's home. But walk into any major supermarket today and you'll find yourself staring at a chiller cabinet filled with products that barely deserve the name. In our view, sausages pumped so full of water they shrink to half their size in the pan. Bangers with meat content so low you'd be better off eating the cardboard they're wrapped in. And the worst part? Some of the priciest options are just as disappointing as the budget ones. Today, we're exposing the truth. We've dug through what real British shoppers are saying, we've examined the labels, and we're ranking 10 UK supermarkets from the absolute worst offenders to the 2 that are actually still getting it right. Will your regular shop make the list? Or have you been wasting your money on substandard bangers? Let's find out. We're starting at the very bottom. And this first one is going to upset a lot of people. Let's start with what seems like a proper betrayal. Asda's Extra Special range. The name alone makes promises, doesn't it? Extra Special. Premium. The line you reach for when you want something a bit better than the basics. You're paying extra for that green packaging and the fancy label. But here's what you're actually getting. Disappointment in a plastic tray. The Extra Special Cumberland sausages have become a running joke among British home cooks. One shopper described them perfectly. Paid nearly £4 for 6 sausages and 3 of them split open in the pan. What came out looked like grey water. Another wrote, "The casing was tough as leather and the filling tasted of nothing. Absolutely nothing. I've had more flavour from a bowl of plain porridge. This is the Asda special trick. Dress it up, charge more, deliver less." The meat content typically sits at around 70%, which sounds reasonable until you realise that leaves 30% for rusk, water, and whatever binding agents they've thrown in to bulk it out. And that's exactly what customers notice. These sausages don't sizzle in the pan, they boil. They release so much water, they practically steam themselves. One reviewer summed it up brilliantly. "I bought these thinking I was treating myself. Instead, I watched my money literally evaporate in the frying pan." When your premium range performs worse than some supermarket's basic lines, you know something's gone badly wrong. Right, let's address the elephant in the room. Budget sausages. We all know they're not going to be artisan bangers from an award-winning butcher, but there's budget and then there's taking the absolute mickey. Morrisons Savers pork sausages are the latter. Listed at around 42% pork content, these barely qualify as meat products. To put that in perspective, more than half of what you're eating isn't pork. It's rusk, it's water, it's stabilizers, it's whatever cheap filler keeps the production costs down and the profit margins up. And British shoppers have noticed, their reviews are brutal. Like eating wet cardboard held together with string. Another, "My dog wouldn't even finish them and he eats his own sick." That's not hyperbole, that's a direct quote. But here's what really stings. Morrisons used to be known for decent fresh counters for proper butchers working in-store. They built a reputation on fresh, local quality, and now they're selling sausages that split open before they even hit proper cooking temperature, releasing a grey liquid that one customer review described as looking like something from a medical drama. The worst part? Even at budget prices, these aren't worth it. Because you're not saving money if you're throwing half the pack away in disgust. Oh, Sainsbury's, once the gold standard of British supermarkets, the place where Middle England did its weekly shop with confidence. But their Taste the Difference range has become more Taste the Disappointment. Let's talk about their Toulouse sausages specifically, because this is where premium pricing meets mediocre reality. You're paying top money, nearly £6 for a pack of 6, for sausages that are supposed to transport you to the markets of southern France. Rustic, herby, coarsely ground pork with just the right amount of garlic. What you actually get is a wet, under-seasoned mess that tastes like someone described French sausages over the phone to someone who'd never left Slough. The complaints are consistent. Bland beyond belief. More water than a swimming pool. The texture was like eating a damp sponge. One particularly disappointed customer wrote, "I've been buying these for years and I swear they've changed the recipe. They used to be incredible. Now they're just expensive and ordinary." And that's the key word. Ordinary. There's nothing special about them, nothing that justifies the price, nothing that makes you think, yes, this is worth it. You're paying for a fancy label and a French name, but what you're getting is a product that couldn't find France on a map. If you're going to charge premium prices, you need to deliver premium quality. Sainsbury's doesn't seem to be doing that anymore. Tesco Finest, another premium range that's quietly gone downhill while keeping the premium price tag, and nothing represents that decline quite like their pork, Bramley apple, and cider sausages. On paper, it sounds lovely. British pork, tangy apple, a splash of cider. Perfect for an autumn dinner, the kind of thing you'd pick up for a special weekend breakfast or a Sunday roast. You can practically see it on the marketing photos, golden and glistening, herbs scattered artfully on the plate. The reality? According to actual customers, tasted like someone whispered the word apple near a regular sausage. Another review: I've had more cider flavour from an apple-scented candle. This is the problem with these gimmicky flavour combinations. They sound impressive in the marketing copy, but when the base sausage is substandard, no amount of Bramley apple is going to save it. And Tesco Finest seems to have absolutely mastered the art of disappointing the customer while charging them extra for the privilege. The meat content hovers around 75%, which again sounds acceptable until you taste them and realise that 75% is doing some seriously heavy lifting. Multiple shoppers reported the same issue. Excessive shrinkage. One person measured before and after cooking, these sausages lost nearly 40% of their size. That's not cooking, that's a magic trick. An expensive, disappointing magic trick. Paid nearly £5 for 6 sausages and ended up with what looked like 6 cocktail sausages by the time they were done. Absolutely criminal, wrote one fed-up customer. When your Finest range is performing like this, you have to ask, finest compared to what? Now this one might surprise people. Aldi has built an entire reputation on being the budget shop that punches above its weight. The place where you can get quality for less. Underestimated, but often impressive. Their specially selected range is supposed to be their answer to Tesco Finest and Sainsbury's Taste the Difference. But when it comes to their British pork sausages, something's gone badly wrong. At over £3 for 6 sausages, these aren't budget. You're paying mid-range prices, Aldi is positioning them as premium, but what you're getting is inconsistency, and that's somehow worse than predictable mediocrity. One week they're decent, the next week they're inedible. Same product, same packaging, completely different result. One shopper described it as sausage roulette, never knowing whether you're going to get something edible or something that belongs in the bin. The most common complaint? Splitting. These sausages split open with alarming regularity, sometimes before they even get hot. The casings seem paper thin one week and tough as old boots the next. There's no consistency in the seasoning either. One pack tastes properly peppered, the next tastes of absolutely nothing. And here's the frustrating part. When they're good, they're actually quite good. But you can't build trust when customers never know what they're going to get. As one long-time Aldi shopper put it, "I used to swear by these, now I just swear at them." For a retailer built on consistency and value, this seems a shocking failure. Iceland, where Britain goes for frozen food and the occasional Kerry Katona sighting in the adverts. And look, nobody expects luxury from Iceland, but they've got the audacity to print that word right there on the packet. Luxury. Let's be very clear about what luxury means at Iceland. Absolutely nothing. These sausages are frozen, which isn't automatically a problem. Plenty of frozen food is decent, but Iceland's luxury range seems to believe that calling something luxury is the same as making it luxury. It's not. At all. The texture is the first giveaway. Even after proper cooking, these sausages have a strange, almost rubbery quality. Multiple customers describe them as bouncy or springy, in a way that meat should never be. One person wrote, "Bit into one and it practically bounced off my teeth. I've had erasers with less give." And then there's the flavour, or rather the complete lack of it. These sausages taste like someone explained the concept of pork to an alien who then tried to recreate it from memory. There's a vague meatiness, sure, but nothing that makes you think of a proper British banger. Nothing with character, with seasoning, with any kind of soul. The fat content is also suspiciously high. These sausages release an alarming amount of grease when cooking, shrinking down to sad little tubes of disappointment. One customer measured and found they lost nearly half their volume. Half. picked these up for an easy midweek tea and nobody would touch them," reported a frustrated parent. "Even the kids pushed them aside, which never happens. We gave up and ordered takeaway." When kids reject your food, you know you've really missed the mark. The Co-op. Community-focused, ethically minded, the supermarket that's supposed to care. And their irresistible range is positioned as their premium offering. Outdoor-bred British pork. Sounds wonderful, doesn't it? Sounds like pigs living their best lives producing quality meat for quality sausages. So why are these so aggressively mediocre? At around £4.50 for 6 sausages, you're paying serious money. You're paying more than most of the competition. And what you're getting for that premium price is a sausage that tastes like it was designed by a committee who'd never actually eaten a sausage before. The seasoning is timid. Actually, timid is being generous. It's practically non-existent. One reviewer described them as frighteningly bland. Another said they tasted like boiled pork with a slight suggestion that herbs exist somewhere in the world. And here's the thing that really gets British shoppers annoyed. The Co-op makes a big deal about the outdoor bred element, about the welfare standards, about doing things properly. And that's great, genuinely. But when the end product is this uninspiring, it feels like they're charging you for their ethics while forgetting that the sausage also needs to taste of something. As one frustrated customer put it perfectly, "I don't mind paying more for better welfare, I really don't, but I also need the sausage to have some flavour. These taste like they've been seasoned with good intentions and nothing else. The texture is also off. They're too smooth, too uniform, too processed. There's no coarseness, no bite, no character. They're not offensive, they're just there, existing, taking up space in your frying pan and on your plate while contributing absolutely nothing to the meal. Irresistible? More like impossible to get excited about." And here we are, the absolute worst offender. And yes, it's a Waitrose product. Now, before the pitchforks come out, let me be clear. Waitrose is generally solid. Their fresh counters are excellent, their premium ranges are often worth the money, and there's a reason the middle classes are loyal to the place. They do get a lot of things right, but the Waitrose Essential Pork Sausages, these are a rare misstep from a supermarket that usually maintains high standards. These aren't even from their premium range. These are the basics, the essentials, the everyday sausages, and they're shockingly poor quality, especially considering this is Waitrose. At around £3 for 8 sausages, you'd expect something at least decent, something that functions as a sausage should. What you actually get is a product that feels completely out of character for the Waitrose brand. The meat content is around a disappointing 60%. That means potentially 40% of what you're eating isn't pork. And you can tell. These sausages cook up pale and sad, releasing enough water to fill the pan. The texture is mushy, the flavour is non-existent, and the casings have a disturbing tendency to burst open, releasing a grey mixture that looks distinctly unappetising. One Waitrose customer, clearly surprised by the quality, wrote, "I shop at Waitrose specifically to avoid products like this. These essential sausages are completely out of step with everything else they sell." Another said, "Bizarre that Waitrose, who usually get it right, have let these slip through. Their premium sausages are lovely, but these basics are terrible." And that's the key point here. This feels like an anomaly. Waitrose clearly knows how to source and sell quality sausages because their other ranges prove it. But somewhere along the line, their essential range got left behind. Perhaps they're trying to compete on price at the bottom end, and it's simply not working. The frustration from customers is palpable because they expect better from Waitrose, and rightly so. As one shopper put it, "Waitrose, you're better than this. Your other sausages are great. Please sort out your essentials range because this isn't up to your usual standards." When even your loyal customer base is confused by a product's poor quality, you know something's gone wrong. Stick to Waitrose's premium sausage ranges and you'll be absolutely fine. But give their essentials a miss until they sort them out. If you're still watching and finding this information valuable, I'd really appreciate it if you'd leave a sausage emoji in the comments below, just to let me know you're here. And if you haven't subscribed yet, please consider subscribing and ringing that bell so you don't miss future videos. Your support is what allows us to keep creating content that holds these supermarkets accountable. Now, let's get to the good news, because after all that disappointment, you deserve to know where you should actually be spending your money. Right, here's where things get better, Marks & Spencer, M&S. The shop where everything costs slightly more, but you just know it's probably going to be decent. And their Select Farms British pork sausages live up to that promise. At around £4 for 6 sausages, yes, you're paying premium prices. But here's the difference, you're actually getting premium sausages. The meat content says 85%. That's among the highest you'll find in any supermarket, and you can taste every percentage point of that extra pork. These sausages cook up properly, they brown beautifully, they hold their shape, and most importantly, they actually taste like pork. Proper, well-seasoned pork. Not overpowering, not bland, just right. The casings have a satisfying snap, the texture is coarse enough to feel substantial, and there's minimal shrinkage. Customer reviews are overwhelmingly positive. Finally, a supermarket sausage that doesn't make me regret not going to the butcher. Another. I've served these at dinner parties and had people ask where I got them. They're genuinely good. M&S has always understood something that other supermarkets seem to have forgotten. If you're going to charge more, you have to deliver more. These sausages deliver. They're not perfect, they're not artisan, but they're honest quality bangers that won't let you down. And in today's supermarket landscape, that's worth celebrating. And here's the winner, the best supermarket sausages in Britain. And it's not from Waitrose, it's not from M&S, it's from the German discounter that half of Britain still pronounces wrong, it's Lidl. Their deluxe British pork sausages are what every supermarket sausage should be. At around £3 for 6, they're mid-range pricing. Not budget, not premium, just fair. And what you get for that price is extraordinary. Meat content says 80%. Proper pork, properly seasoned, properly made. These sausages have a gorgeous coarse texture. They're well herbed without being overpowering, and they cook like an absolute dream. Minimal splitting, minimal shrinkage, maximum flavour. But here's what really sets them apart. Consistency. Every pack is good. Every single time. You're not playing roulette, you're not hoping you've got a decent batch. They're reliably excellent. The reviews speak for themselves. Better than my local butcher and a third of the price. Another shopper. I've been buying these for 2 years and they've never once disappointed. Never. Someone else wrote, served these at a barbecue and 3 people asked where I got them. When I said Lidl, they literally didn't believe me. Lidl has done what the British supermarket giants have failed to do. They've made a quality product at a fair price, and they've maintained that quality consistently. They haven't cut corners to boost profits. They haven't swapped out ingredients hoping customers won't notice. They've just kept making proper sausages, and that's why they're number 1. So there you have it. 8 supermarkets you should never buy some types of sausages from, and 2 that are actually worth your money. The message is clear. Price doesn't guarantee quality. Big names don't guarantee quality, and sometimes the best option is the one you least expect. We want to hear from you. Have you been burned by any of these supermarkets? Have you discovered the magic of Lidl's bangers? Let us know in the comments below. And remember, you vote with your wallet. Every time you choose quality over brand name, every time you refuse to accept substandard products, you're sending a message. These supermarkets will only change when we demand better. Thanks for watching.